this has the potential to be really bad. As far as like the fact that Christopher Priest is the person kind of handling this after being the person to kind of lift T'Challa out of this kind of place of taking over another person's book and having like his own defined characteristics. I think that my issue with this book, whenever I think about Black Panther and I think about what he represents to like comics, right? Being one of the first black characters because Stan Lee and Jack Kirby wanting to address the fact that there was not good representation at the time. All of these things, right? I think that unfortunately, not even necessarily unfortunately, I think it's just a reality. I think that Black Panther takes on a lot of the things that we as black people have to take on in real life. And what I mean by that is there can sometimes be a never-ending attack on black masculinity. That's often brought up a lot in African American studies like circles. It can often be brought up a lot just in general. Black writers for a very long time have talked about the fact that by defacing or devaluing black masculinity, we can do things like, destroy the black family unit, or we can destroy the idea of comfort in one's own self-image within an entire group of people, right? And you might think that, oh, well, men are always fighting against toxic masculinity or hyper masculinity. What makes it any different for black people? And it comes from a place of we're making superheroes here, right? And when we're in the business of making heroes, it's very important to create heroes that represent things, right? We spoke about Superman last time, how he represents hope. And T'Challa being the Black Panther, right? Being quite literally the namesake for, black liberation and freedom during the 60s and 70s and 80s in certain areas of the country. T'Challa not only represents a king from Wakanda, he also represents free lunch. Whether or not he's, willing to take this burden on or not. And I do think that when we have books like this, we do have to ask ourselves, are we ourselves as black folks aiding in the never-ending attack on black masculinity? And is it something that we necessarily need to be worried about? Is it something that we should we be worried about the idea of Hollywood always trying to put us in a dress? Like, should we be worried about the idea of us being portrayed as soft around the edges, even though we might have a larger than life physique or persona? Is that something that we need to be worried about with our heroes taking on this form and then being represented to like a larger audience? And that's where I think that this book could be a very big flop. I do think that having Christopher Priest come back for